the Lions are planning alternate helmets for next year and an interesting overhaul for their uniforms in 2024. New helmets, alternate helmets next year, and new uniforms in 2024. Gator, what do you make of this?
I'm intrigued. I'm probably in the minority when it comes to the Lions uniforms. I don't mind them. I know the color scheme has nothing to do with a lion.
Yeah.
Honolulu blue and silver. I get that, but I like that color blue. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually do like it, and with the silver, I think it's a good look. The tweak they made got to be close to 10 years ago now with the helmet to give it the angry eye and the fang, whatever that is. Changed the lion to make from a circus lion to an actual kind of feared lion. I like that change. So I'm intrigued what they can do. If it's just enhancing the lion that's on the helmet, I'd like to see that. Every once in a while you'll see mock-ups online. There'll be some story there that's linked in there. Well, we have different mock-up helmets for every team in the NFL. And you go and look at them, and the Lions one is usually, it's pretty cool. I like what I see. So I'm intrigued what they can do with the helmet. Now, when they talk about different uniforms for 2024, that's different because that sounds like you're going to change the color palette a little bit. And I'm curious about that.
Well, there's a couple things about this. Let's start with the details. 2023, there'll be helmets to go with their alternate uniforms. Rod Wood told the Free Press on Monday the team plans to unveil the alternate helmet later this spring. He said that they would share the new helmet design publicly, but the alternate is expected to look significantly different than the silver helmet the Lions currently wear. And with the Lions logo on the side and the blue striping down the middle. Other details. Alternate helmets must include a logo from some point in the team's history, according to NFL.com. Teams cannot create a new logo specifically for the helmet. Why they have those rules? Don't know. But they have those rules. So, as soon as we started talking about this, Kang, you made a prediction of what the alternate helmet would be.
Yeah, I think they're going to go white. Predominantly white, with some other accent colors, of course, and then the logo. Because that seems to be the trend in the NFL lately, right?
Yep.
And I don't mind it. It's a clean, sharp look, if you ask me. And most of the time, the uniform changes and stuff. They don't move me enough where I'm like, all right, well, I'm not watching the game anymore.
Right, sure. Well, the thing about it is, when Gator mentioned those, it seems like websites all over are always coming up with alternate helmets. And whenever I feel like half of them, when you get to the Lions bucket, it's white. Like it will frequently be white. So I've already in my mind envisioned that this could be a white helmet. I always thought for years and years and years and years, Gator, I called for Michigan State to go with a white helmet. I think that's their best look with the white helmet. If it has to include a team logo from the past, like I'm looking at the official team logos, this is where the crawling lion with the two racing stripes could come into play. And then there's way, way back in the day where there's a lion, there's like a football player carrying a football, and it's a classic, mid-50s mock-up of a football player, cartoon football player, with a lion that's like next to him, maybe even like blocking for him.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yep. So these logos, there's not a ton of, I don't think there's a long history of Lions logos.
Well, there isn't.
Yeah. Official Lions logos. There's only so much they can do.
Yeah, I'm looking at a site right now that has former Lions. I'm sure it's the same one you're looking at former Lions logos as well. I do like the elongated line with the two stripes.
The one that I think everybody likes. The two racing stripes and the crawling, elongated lion. Yeah, it's a good look. It's a really good look. So that could be incorporated some way into the alternate helmet.
Yeah, now the ultimate helmet is the one that has to hit with the guidelines of something from the past, right?
Yeah, it has to be. You can't create a new logo to put it on an alternate helmet.
2024, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, so 2024, they're in discussions with Nike, according to the Free Press story, about new uniforms for 2024. Quote from Rod Wood, it really takes 2 years to really get it going, kind of working with Nike, looking at uniforms that will probably be for 2024. It could be an interesting overhaul of the uniforms. We have new alternate helmet, though, this year. We didn't do that last season. More on the uniforms, again, in part from this story Dave Burkett wrote. The NFL allows teams to change their uniforms every 5 years. Here's the interesting part. Wood said the process of changing uniforms is an extensive one that starts with an organization giving Nike a vision of how it sees itself, and designers exchange a myriad of ideas. Quote, we're not going to the Portsmouth colors. No, it'll be within the blues and the grays. I think it's too early to say exactly, but I would describe it, at least initially, as probably being a change that it's probably being more change than we did last time when we did it, because I think those were more subtle changes. But they're not changing the colors. That would be radical, changing the Lions' color scheme.
Well, if they just change the shades, stay in the blue family, but you change the shade of the blue. I hope if they do that, my first thought was, go with a deeper blue, but no, don't, because that's Dallas. That's Dallas Cowboys. And they already can look too much like Dallas anyway, so don't do that.
Right.
You can't go powder blue. I mean, you could, I suppose, but I don't think that makes any sense to go that way. So maybe are they just going to keep the Honolulu blue, or do you go with the royal blue? It feels like, though, I don't know what it actually is, but the throwback jersey blue, it feels like that's a different color blue than Honolulu, but I don't know if it's any different. But I do like that. Maybe just because you see it more prominent with less piping and stripes.
I guess the question is, do you want them to change the colors? Do you want them to change the colors? It would be very radical. They're implying that they're not going to do that. Do you want the Lions to change their colors? They're changing their uniforms, not this coming season, the following season. They're getting new alternate helmets this season. 248-539-9797. And is there anything specifically you want to see from these new Lions uniforms?